like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute.
Our favorite part of today's confirmation hearing for Pam Bondi for the Justice Department was an exchange with one of our favorite senators from Louisiana, Senator John Kennedy. Now, we've got a ton of clips here on this channel, and you can sort through them. In fact, if you sort our clips based on popularity, you'll see that a ton of them that pop up in the top 30 or 50 involve the good senator from Louisiana. Senator Kennedy is great at a turn of phrase and a clever little Louisiana way of saying things, but he's also a brilliant legal mind, and he's able to challenge nominees who are completely and totally unqualified for the bench or for other jobs within the Justice Department. And he's able to expose that they're not really there because they know the law. They're there because they push a political agenda. And we love that, John Kennedy, and we love those clips. But what about when John Kennedy matches his great legal mind with someone like Pam Bondi, who is a great attorney general and really knows the law well? Well, what you end up getting is actually a brilliant exchange about the law, about our Constitution, and about how the federal Justice Department really should work in this country. We spend a lot of time telling you what's wrong, so we wanted to spend a little time showing you what's right in this process. Take it away, Senator Kennedy.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
I love this with a passion. I love this almost to the level that I love my wife. And let me explain. We have a social contract in this country. The Constitution, the founding document of our current form of government, which goes back to the late 18th century. It's not the founding document of our nation. That would be the Declaration of Independence. But the founding document of our current government that has withstood since 1789. It begins with the three words, we the people. It's so important that those are our three words, especially for those of you who are listening. And I know we've got listeners and viewers in Canada and in Europe who love to watch this show because they want to be plugged in on our unique angle on American politics. Understand why it's so important that our Constitution begins with we the people, because it sets the tone that all of these people that have power over our lives, the people who can take money out of our bank accounts in the form of taxes, who can kidnap us and incarcerate us if we violate the law and put us in jail. They can even take our life if we have committed a capital crime. They can only have that power because we, the people, have granted that power to them. Right? And all of the rights that are dictated in our Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, explain that we were born with these rights. And only in certain circumstances are we allowing this government that we are in charge of to violate those rights. You can violate our right to free speech under certain circumstances. We're going to let you do that because we have decided to do that. But we still hold on to that right of free speech. Same with search and seizure, same with self-incrimination, and on and on and on. But we still hold on to these rights. And it is a contract. It is more than that. It's a compact that we made the day we ratified that Constitution and empowered and established this government that still stands since 1789. And Mr. Kennedy here, along with Ms. Bondi, are explaining how fragile that compact is, how fragile the trust is between we the people and this government that we empower, and how that trust is waning, how the power that the government has over us, that we have allowed them to have with our permission, that is a very thin string right now, and it is pulled very taut. And it's because in our eyes, many of our eyes, that power has been abused, and that contract has been trampled on. And there needs to be a demonstration from this new administration, not just in the Justice Department, but in pretty much every department that holds sway over we the people, that they are going to make a good faith effort to reestablish that trust. And part of that is to expose what has gone on in the past under both parties, and then reforms to ensure that it doesn't happen again. The Justice Department, though, is the most important of all those agencies that has violated that trust, because they have the most power over us. They're the ones who, well, officers of this department regularly carry lethal weapons to use against American citizens. They carry great power in the form of subpoenas and the power to arrest and the power to search and the power to spy to ensure that we have not violated those laws. And as you just saw in that exchange, the trust is so important. Otherwise, well, as they said, we have anarchy, we have chaos, we have something that we don't want to breach. We don't want to go there, because ultimately there are a lot more of us. There are a lot more of we the people than there are of those who have power over us. And the only way it works is if that trust is reestablished. And my God, I love the way these two just had that exchange. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's much more that these two discussed about how important it is to have a Justice Department that we can have faith in again.
The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's what, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation. Help us restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, thank you indeed, Senator. My God. And by the way, and again, only Kennedy. We mentioned yesterday with Mazie Hirono and some of the other ones that they have everything scripted out. And he's got notes in front of him, but he's got a brilliant mind. And the way he could, but I got to use a couple of these. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And that sort of thing only happens in countries where the Powerball jackpot is 260,000 chickens. Is that what it was? Oh, that's good. But he does point out something incredibly important and factual that didn't get much attention. That Merrick Garland did not name a special prosecutor, Jack Smith, to investigate the crimes of Donald Trump until after he declared himself officially a candidate for president against Joe Biden. It seems like that's noteworthy. It's fascinating, isn't it? That the moment Merrick Garland became Attorney General, right up until the moment that Donald Trump announced that he was running for president against Merrick Garland's boss, no facts on the ground had changed with regard to Donald Trump's participation or not in the events of January 6th. The facts on the ground were the same the day Merrick Garland became Attorney General, right up until the moment Donald Trump announced he was running for president against Merrick Garland's boss. The only thing that changed was that Donald Trump was now a candidate for president, and then Merrick Garland named Jack Smith as a special prosecutor. And yet somehow Democrats don't see that as a threat to our Constitution. They don't see that as a threat to our very country and the democratic process. Nope. The problem is Trump and Pam Bondi. One other moment here, because we love it when John Kennedy makes us laugh, and even more when he makes people like Pam Bondi laugh. This is a line of questioning that seemed to be going in a weird direction. It had to do with this guy, this Sam Brinkman dude who defrauded thousands of people on his crypto pyramid scheme, right? You remember that?
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. So smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Mm-hmm. Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
I don't know where he was going with this, other than to point out that the Department of Justice has some pretty important crimes that they have to go after, especially rich and powerful people that are connected to rich and powerful people like Bill Clinton. But just calling runner-up in a John Belushi contest brings joy to my life, and was a lighthearted moment. So we thank you, Senator John Kennedy. Thank you for keeping things as entertaining and informative as they are. Please keep doing the good work. And we rag a lot on these senators who decide that they have to continue running for office into their 90s. But let me tell you something. Don't you take John Kennedy away from me. I want him there well into his hundreds. All right. As long as he can continue doing what you just saw him do. We appreciate the folks at Birch Gold because increased tariffs on our trade partners is a very real thing. Trump just announced this external revenue service idea yesterday. The tariffs are coming, plus tax cuts. Johnson's going to try to champion solidifying the tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, which are supposed to sunset at the end of this year. And you know that this new administration is going to try to change and cut regulation. All of this is why gold is a viable diversification tactic right now more than ever. Birch Gold, it's the only gold company I endorse. They're releasing the ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era with a foreword written by Donald Trump Jr. Get your free copy of this incredible book, along with Birch Gold's free information kit on gold. Just text my name, Larry, to 989898. Larry, text that to 989898. The national debt continues to increase. Our interest payments on the national debt continue to increase. Gold is still your hedge against a weakened dollar. And Birch Gold, still the company I recommend to help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. And you're just converting your existing accounts, so there's no money out of your pocket. It's a brilliant, brilliant thing. Get more information by texting Larry to 989898. Get your free copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword written by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Text Larry to 989898. Do that today.